possible.
Good evening and welcome to Tuesday Night Watch Hangout, and we've got guests galore this evening, and we're talking about the new documentary, which should be out in a few months, with the man who, Robert, you what produced it, directed it, everything else?
Yeah, I did a lot, so it was a fun project, though.
He did everything.
And then we've got Blake, who, of course, shot it and did some editing on it. And we did have Georgia, but Georgia just dropped off. But she'll be back. And, of course, the documentary is about Georgia. So what do you think of that? There she is right there. We'll get her back up top here momentarily.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Hey, Georgia.
Hi, guys. So excited to be here.
No problem. So we were just saying, you know,
I
we're
lost all
talking
you guys
tonight.
for a second.
Ah, okay. Can you see us now? Robert? Hi, Robert. Uh-oh.
Technical difficulties?
Yep.
I guess so. I don't know. Georgia, you can still hear us, right?
I'm getting a lot of echo.
Oh, okay. We can't hear it on our end.
I don't hear it.
Let's
Do you
see.
have AirPods?
Do you have, so quick question, do you have the YouTube stream and StreamYard open at the same time?
Let me check.
Because if you do, then there will be an echo, because there's always a delay in the show and the live StreamYard and what goes out on YouTube.
The problem is fixed.
Rob,
Thank you so
good.
much.
There we go. Robert, can you hear us now?
I'll take that as a no.
I'll take that as a no as well. Well, we may have to ask Robert to hop off and hop back on to fix his whatever's going on there. But in the meantime, welcome. We're talking this evening with Georgia about the documentary, making of the documentary, spending a few days with Blake, which I've also done, and it's not an easy thing to do. And thank you, Hud.
Wait a minute. Is that a documentary or a horror film?
Hey, well, you know.
Hey, come on.
So we want to welcome in, of course, our usual panel this evening with Blake, who is part of our usual panel. We have Jen, we have Mr. Mitch, and we have Nate up there at the top. Georgia, let me ask you first. Blake, if you would text Robert and let him know that he might need to.
Now.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good.
Working on the sound settings here.
Let me first of all ask you, what led you to want to do this documentary? Were you approached to do it? Did you approach somebody about doing it? How did all of this come about?
Yes,
I was forced by Blake.
Yeah, Blake.
Yeah, that's what happened.
It's a common story. Everybody has one of those. With
I mean,
him.
how on earth am I meant to say no to that? I can't. No, Blake and I are friends. We've been friends for a while now. I did his podcast a while back, and he approached me about doing this. And I think telling my story, telling everyone's story with them watches is something that is so wonderful to do. And Blake has such a fantastic vision for this too. So as soon as he approached me about it, I was absolutely elated. So I couldn't wait to jump in head first. And he really controlled the whole thing, with Rob obviously as well, but really took, I know, thank God Rob dropped off at that moment, but No,
He's
Blake
back.
really did
He's back. So
amazing.
stop talking
Oh,
about
Rob,
him.
I hope you can hear us now. Oh, there we go. Perfect. But no, I'm very, very grateful for the both of them for telling a story and for putting something so beautiful together.
It's funny because so Rob and I have been friends for what, like a couple of years now, like maybe 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah.
We met through the watch community. Not going to say specifically how, for unknown reasons. But ever since like Rob and I got connected, we've just always really been like good friends. And I was just venting to Rob about this project I was trying to work on and start and all this, and then Rob was kind of like, dude, chill, like chill out, like slow down, chill out, and was just like, because I had a much bigger project in mind. And Rob was like, well, why don't you just like package it smaller? And the idea was to like get people like Georgia, you know, people who are so like deeply ingrained in the watch community, to like, you know, just reveal their passion for watches. And that was how we were going to stitch together the narratives that, or the interviews that we have. Because I've got interviews from 7 or 8 CEOs right now from different watch brands. And we were going to use Georgia's storyline to kind of like stitch it together. And then it just became like, why don't we just chill out and slow down? And then we pitched Georgia, and Georgia was in. And then it just became all about Georgia and her story. And so, not in a bad way, but, you know, we just thought that Georgia would be the right person to do this. And she was perfect for this project. And so Rob and I came together and we shot this with Georgia. And we were going back and forth with writing and, you know, writing ideas, writing concepts, like writing voiceovers. And then eventually just came into it like, you know, Rob was kind of taking like a backseat approach at first, I think. And then Rob was like, just, you know, like let me help you, you know, let me help you, I think. And then it just so quickly happened from him helping me write to like, you know, then stepping in as a director and then booking a flight and coming with me to New York, you know, to shoot this whole thing. And then after we shot it, like it just became so much more. So
we should probably ask Robert, why the hell do you listen to Blake, first of all? Seriously, how did you get roped into this?
So Blake is a great-hearted dude, you know, and I love good people, and so that's why I was kind of down with Blake to help as much as I could. He kind of came to me with his original concept, and I just came off of doing my own little film that did very well internationally, and I just kind of put the format into position for this idea of Blake. And we just kind of had to zero in, like he was saying earlier, we had to zero in on a storyline. We had to zero in on a person's experience. And I met Georgia, and once I met her once, it's like, okay, this is a no-brainer. And then from there, even this story really had a lot more meat on it. But just as it evolved and as things twisted and turned, it really ended up being a documentary format about Georgia and her experience through this weekend. And although that's way off of answering the question, that's just kind of my take on how it began.
That's perfect. And the movie that you were talking about, your movie, that's the poster for it right behind you, isn't it?
That is the poster for it. You could find that on one of my YouTube channels. Rob Outside is the YouTube channel. It's a 24-minute watch. It's pretty easy to watch, but it's really got a lot of good messaging to it. Capacity in Reserve is the name of the film, and you just go to Rob Outside here on YouTube and find the film. You can watch it, and please leave comments, hit me up, tell me what you think, all that stuff, you know.
Cool. We'll have Blake put that in the chat a little bit later. Let's say really quick, now that we've got kind of the show set up, let's say hi to the folks watching tonight. Welcome Monoverse, welcome in Caliber YQG, Yes, we are here live on Tuesday night. Welcome to Shannon, who's wearing a Tudor Black Bay GMT Pepsi 41 millimeter. Very nice, beautiful watch. Welcome to Spectre as well. And of course, we've got Brian the Pipe. And Brian, you're welcome to hop on as well. Brian is another one of our regulars. And of course, Jen G. We've got my friend from high school, John Wiegand, actually still my friend. Talk tonight for like an hour. So, John, thank you so much for tuning in. We've got our friend Nerd with Swag, Wrist Time Poppy. Thank you very much. My buddy here from here, right here in Austin with me. We appreciate you being here. And of course, Ryan Hofrey is in the house. So we thank you guys for joining us this evening. Hop into the chat if you have any questions for Georgia or Robert or Blake or whomever. Please hop into the chat with those questions. We will also be doing a race this evening at the end of the show. So get those super chats in, member chats, join the channel. And if you join the channel, that also gets you into our WhatsApp group. Okay, enough of all of that. Georgia, I'll ask you the simple question, and then we'll turn it over to other panelists to get their questions in. But what got you involved in watches? What led you to this place?
So I turned 30 during COVID, and I wanted to buy myself a present for hitting this milestone. And I had the idea of gold Rolex in my head. And I don't come from a watch family or watch background or anything. And I didn't even know where to start. So I started deep diving into vintage books, into online forums, to reaching out to watch people. And it took me a year and a half of learning and going down the endless rabbit hole that all of us have all fallen down. And I found this President Day Date, which I'm wearing today. And it is one of my absolute favorite pieces of my collection. But since sort of finding this one piece and kind of joining the community through sharing what I was learning and what I was finding out amongst the LA watch community at the time, I kind of got a little addicted, and I've been in it ever since. And it's been such a fun journey, and I can't wait just to continue to learn because there's really no cap when it comes to watches.
And you grew up where? In London, correct?
Yeah,
or England?
Exactly.
You were born there, right?
I was born in London, and I lived there till I was about 23. And then I moved out to New York, and I was working in marketing and design. And I still work in design, but now for Adobe. So I work in like design for tech more so as my main day job, and sort of share my love for watches as my also full-time side job, which is very fun. But I've lived all over the States, started in New York, then moved out to San Francisco where I work for Apple, moved back to New York and worked for some startups, over to LA again for Apple. And then I've been back in New York for about a year and a half now. So I'm very, very happy in New York. It's one of my favorite cities, and I love it here.
And you got to see some, was it new watches earlier today at Tiffany?
Oh, I got to see something new, old, all sorts. I got to visit the 10th floor at the Tiffany Landmark, which is a private floor just of basically a watch museum. And I got to see some pieces there that are 100 plus years old, some of their first stock watches that they ever made, some of their travel watches that were enamel and about 2 inches tall, as well as some of the new releases that actually came out today. And the Tiffany Timer, which came out a couple of weeks ago in the gorgeous Tiffany blue dial chronograph, is with a Zenith movement. Shout out to Zenith, we love them. Was absolutely magical. 40 millimeters, looks perfect on my little wrist. Just, they only made 60 of them. They've already all been spoken for, which is great. Saves my bank account, but I had a fantastic day with Tiffany. Yeah.
And we want to thank Nerd with Swag for the member chat. On the subject of gold Rolexes, I think another price increase is coming. Well, maybe so. You never know. The price of gold's going up. They're going to keep raising their prices. Speaking of collecting, Robert, you're quite the collector yourself. Tell me a little bit about what got you into watches and why you enjoy collecting.
So I am actually probably on the other end of the spectrum when it comes to the reason why I collected. Now, I lost quite literally 23 years of my life. Complete amnesia. So coming out of that, there were some great lessons in life that I learned. And one of them is to live life present. And a watch is the ultimate reminder of what it's like to be in the moment you're in right now. You look at your watch, it will never tell you tomorrow, and it will never tell you yesterday. It will only tell you now. And I kind of grasped onto that as my own little, not just reminder, but of being present, but a reminder of kind of living this life that's going to represent that to people. So hopefully being a light to people, and it's way crazy. My story's crazy. The reason I got into watches is crazy, but ultimately that's the reason why I did it. And I really landed in like the world of tool watches, divers, field, stuff like that. And that's where my passion really is.
Yeah, that's kind of where mine is too. I do have dress watches, but divers will always be my favorite.
Yeah.
Who would like to go next? Jen, you have some questions? Or Mitch or Nate? Don't everybody ask at once.
we could always jump into some stills, right? So I have went through, and we've been editing for I think me and Rob, what would you say, Rob? Like we have maybe
a billion. 1 million hours of editing this 8 minute.
9 minute and 31 seconds. Thank you. But yeah, we've been going back and forth and fixing things, and we just now finished last week.
The reason why it's it's taken so long is because this whole thing, when it comes to this kind of project, is always a forward moving thing. It always develops as you get to if you lock in a scene and you get to scene number 4, well, you might decide and tweak the first 3 scenes that you just went through. So that process is always evolving. It's always developing. And until you're actually done with the entire thing, you're spending tens and tens of hours at least. We probably spent 100 hours, right?
I'd say somewhere around there. And then not to mention with the color and sound sessions that I've had additionally.
Yeah.
Something that I think that was very important for at least me and Rob was just to accurately portray George's story. Like we wanted it to be, we didn't want to tell everybody everything because we want people to experience Georgia and her awesomeness. So we wanted to give you a taste of it. But, we also wanted to like properly package her story on watches and her perspective on watches and her,
For me, I hate to interrupt, but I want to build on that idea. For me, it was important to package her perspective on life because watches and things that she likes really are just extensions of who she is, right? So it's important, and people connect with who you are, not what's on your wrist. And Georgia has this deep, she's got a deep culture inside of her that is like way bigger than most people get to experience in their own lives. So by connecting people to Georgia the most authentic way we could is a way to do the watch industry justice.
I thought that I was in the watch industry, and then I spent a weekend with Georgia, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe not. But something that was really kind of interesting too is as we were going through the revision process of like editing, like we had a few people that like we were bouncing ideas off of. Of course, Georgia was very involved in the process. We had a couple other people who had come from filmmaking, and we were the consensus was kind of interesting that like in this film we want you to understand Georgia, but then we want you to fall in love with Georgia, but then we want you to realize that she's madly in love with watches is the consensus. So
speaking of madly in love or madly in hate as it comes to George Varghese and IWC, Georgia and Robert, have you ever thought about documenting a life with IWC? Take 2 ibuprofen and have a shot of your favorite adult beverage. George? George and his anti-IWC every week. George, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. We also want to welcome in Jessica. Hello, Jessica.
Hey,
Thank you
Jess.
so much for joining us. And we appreciate you being here. And we want to welcome my daughter, Amanda. Hello.
Hey, Amanda. How are you?
She's late because she probably had trouble putting Holly, my granddaughter, to sleep. Holly is 2 going on 20, and she never likes to sleep, ever. So I'm sure that's...
She's 2. Her favorite word is probably no.
That's one of them.
Yeah.
That's definitely one of them.
She was cranky when I was there in Austin.
Yeah, we went out. He was here over my birthday weekend, so we went out to birthday dinner. So he got to meet the whole family, and Holly was a little cranky that night. She's much better now, though. She was pretty good. We had a little Super Bowl party with her the other night, and she was a mess. And yes, as I imagine, she's a handful. Thank you. Oh, and we have a $2 from the Ghost of Yiddish Gambino. Nate, real quick, show me on the doll where the IWC hurt you. Thank you.
Look exactly what I said right after that.
Yeah. Oh, my. So, Nate or anybody else have any questions? If not, we're just going to turn it over to Blake for the next round.
Well, let me chime in here.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm a native New Yorker, just in exile in Missouri. So I can relate to the whole New York scene. Wish I was back there. That's where I first got involved with watches 25 years ago. And 25 years ago, it was, you never saw a person of the female persuasion at any watch dinner, in any watch store, certainly not as a sort of executive for a North American executive for a watch company. But since then, there's clearly been more involvement by women on the collecting side as well as on the executive side. I just wonder where you think the evolution of women in watches will be going. Talk about an open-ended question.
Can I jump in first?
Yeah.
That was directed to you.
That was
Oh,
to
that
you.
was wonderful. No, thank you so much for sharing that perspective. And I do, obviously, I've only been in it for probably 5 years, but I think it's changed a lot in those 5 years, especially. But 20 years ago, it must have been the only women you would see perhaps would be the PR girls who are working the events and helping out, which you still see a lot of today. So
the only woman who was an executive of sort back then was Blake and my friend Marcia.
She knows Marcia from Aristocrat. Yeah.
Yep. And so do I.
Yep. We all know her.
But back then, she was sort of the West Coast IWC rep. And then she became the in charge of Longa North America. But that was very rare.
And Tag. She was at Tag for a while, too. She's
Yeah,
a legend.
yeah.
She's a legend.
Yeah, I think there's been a shift because I think women are, one, perhaps getting paid more equally now, but we have a higher spend power. So I think we're excited to treat ourselves to these things that were so owned by men for so long. Even though the first wristwatch was designed for a woman, men has taken it over for 100 plus years, which has just been like such a shame. But I think now women are really taking back their power, buying watches to really show off their personality. We don't need to just buy tennis bracelets or diamond earrings, whatever it might be. Instead of that, we're like, no, we're going to buy something that is a real investment. Just like I said earlier, from my 30th, I wanted to buy a watch. I could have bought diamonds, I could have bought something different, but I wanted to buy something that was beautifully made, craftsmanship, had a story, and to be part of that conversation. And I think we're seeing more and more women get involved because of the emotional connection that we have with these pieces and the stories that they tell. And I think that's such a wonderful way to express ourselves. So even the head of watches for Tiffany in the US is a woman today. And I got to meet so many of the female staff in the Tiffany watchmaking department, which was just so nice to see. The head enameler that they brought over from Switzerland was a woman. So it's so amazing to see that not only are the collectors becoming, a lot more women are becoming collectors, but on the internal side too. So I think it's just going to continue as interest grows and as you see more faces in the space to sort of see, oh, I can be in that too because I see other women in this space. So I'm hoping just that is a domino effect for more and more.
Something that I've actually never asked you. I don't think we've even talked about this, but I'm curious as to where you see yourself heading in watches.
I don't know. I got really jealous of the head of watches for Tiffany today. I was like, should I do this instead? Like, I do head up a design team at Adobe. Surely I should combine my two loves. Blake, I don't know. I feel like it can go in so many ways. Like, I could have my own media platform and I could shout from the rooftops about my love for watches and really grow in the luxury space. I could move in-house at a watch brand and really get stuck in there. My only issue with that is I will only be allowed to publicly wear that one watch brand, which I think would kill me. So that might be really tough. But I think right now I'm kind of taking every day as it comes and seeing what makes me excited, seeing what opportunities come up. And I've been so fortunate that so many have fallen on my lap. So, and yes, I do work hard in this space, obviously, but at the same time, I've been very, very lucky that I keep on getting more opportunities. So I'm going to see where it goes. For now, I still have to keep my day job, and I love my day job. Thank you, Adobe. But I watch this space because I think more and more things will come. But Blake, we can discuss more ideas. I think there will be more things.
Yeah.
Well, and you're very active on social right now as far as watch social with your Instagram and other platforms. And I think the documentary, when it's up and available for public viewing, is going to elevate your status even more.
No, I know so, and I hope so. I think thank you to Rob and Blake for putting that together, because I feel like some people know me, which is wonderful. Like getting to go to the wind up was so much fun because there were my friends there, but then the majority of people don't. So I love to just get more and more people in the industry, and not just in the industry, but into collecting. So what I aim to do with my platform is really just we've got a sneak peek, is to sort of lower the barrier of entry into watches in terms of education, in terms of access, in terms of knowledge. And I hope that with this new documentary or film that's coming out, more people will be able to access me, and I'll be able to spread that word more, not just through me, but through people that I share with on my platform. I have this new series that comes out every Monday where I celebrate women in the space called The Edit, and I do a little highlight of everything that makes them tick. So I'm hoping just to have this as like I said, sort of a domino effect. But Blake, you have to tell the story about this shot.
Well, this was actually the first shot that we set up for, I think.
I heard this story. It's funny.
Not funny.
So this was, ridiculous. This story is ridiculous.
Yes, I know.
The first shot we set up for. I can't remember exactly what, but like, Rob, were you and I there already? I remember. Was it? So we had a second camera operator and cinematographer named Taylor, and she was amazing. But I wasn't quite sure if it was just me and Taylor shooting, and then you. Yeah, that's right. Day one, Rob was in meetings, and I had went to a coffee shop, and I was like, hey, like, Georgia, what do you want? So like, I was bribing her with coffee every single morning. And then he was like, I'll be right behind you. So we had already set up for this shot. And then Rob comes in, and for whatever reason, that entire night, like, my head was just spinning with ideas. And like, I don't know what it was, but I felt like I was dying. So we shot this shot. Rob comes in, and I just was like crashing so freaking hard. Like, we keep saying that I almost died, and I feel like I did. But just the combination.
That was gonna lose Blake.
And I was laying on George's couch, like literally right behind where she's sitting right now. And I was like trying to take a nap. And then Georgia was like, oh, do you need breakfast? Like, I was like, actually, I think that might work. So Georgia made me toast, right? And then toast and eggs, and we like froze up everything. I was like, if I died, Taylor, will you please fix this? Make sure this project happens. And I was like, I got you. But
this was so when you take on a project like this and you only have a few days to do it, you hit the ground running, and you don't stop until you land at your house when it's all over. So the pace, I think you just weren't ready for it. So the pace, like I push, and even getting that first morning was a push. and I just don't think you're ready for it. And your blood sugar got all wacky, and you crashed, and I thought you were a goner.
I totally was. But
We
also
didn't really lose you.
also the whole addition of like at the time when we had first shot this, we were probably like 2 months in, maybe. What would you say? Like 2 months of like preparation, like planning, like we had equipment that was we need to pull that picture up. Literally, I took over George's entire apartment with boxes of equipment that we rented. And I think just that entire moment of just months and months and months of planning and preparation and just came. And then not to mention like malnutrition just like crashed me in 22 seconds.
So George is just laying there doing nothing, acting like she's sleeping. And we did that twice. And those two things were the worst 2 shots of the entire weekend. Blake had the second day we did this, Blake made it a 5-hour event so he could capture some kind of haze in the air. He filled George's room with smoke. It was out of control. Both times it was out of control.
So I have a calculator on my phone and it tells me like when the sun's gonna rise, and like I had mapped it out to George's address, and I knew exactly where the sun was gonna be at what frickin' time, at least I thought. So we got up there, and then sure enough, it's just cloudy as shit that morning. It's like rainy, it's like cloudy. I think George, what time did you wake up? Like 4 or something? For the
Something
shot?
got taken early time. It was a nightmare. And yes, this photo, I was extremely grumpy because we waited for maybe an hour.
Georgia was trying so hard to be nice. And you could just tell how mad she was. I'm hoping that Blake, because it was all his fault.
I just want to know where he got the smoke machine.
I appreciated Blake's vision with this. You can see the sun flare. He had this exact vision. He kept on showing me his app. He was like, "It's gonna be amazing," and I was like, I believe you, but I'm done. So even being asleep was not. I couldn't do this part. It's
been hours. Blake's tracing that stupid app.
Yeah, and. And we ordered Nate. We ordered these cans. They're kind of like atmosphere cans, and so you spray them, and it just fills the room and creates this like really heavy, like fog. And
so you had tear gas canisters as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I had to breathe this in for 90 minutes. Yeah, in my bedroom, I was like, "Is this going to be a residue on all my stuff?" I was.
Did it cause a residue?
No, it was fine.
Okay, because it's supposed to be, it's like mineral spirits, but you can
see...
Yeah,
you checked it. It was all natural. Yeah, it was fine.
But this entire, like, where's my pen? I can draw, I think. This entire effect is all that smoke. And yeah, sure enough, she freaking hated me. But we did what we did, and then after... we shot. We only had like one chance at this shot. Like we really only had one chance because we were waiting. I mean, we had to been at least like 2 hours. I'd say that we were waiting to like 6 a.m. We're like
at least. I think it was more.
Oh shit! The sun's already passed. We may never get this, and everybody's looking at me like I'm a freaking idiot. And and then one freaking glimpse. I was just sitting there, like with the camera ready, like had multiple batteries I was getting ready to swap into, just waiting. And then sure enough, it freaking hit right here.
Yeah, that's not why. That's not necessarily why they were thinking you're a freaking idiot, Blake. That's okay.
So Robert, when Blake stayed at your house, did he also set off smoke bombs and take pictures of you as you were waking up?
Yeah, no, I made him actually camp outside in the tent in the backyard. When he's at my house.
And the other Robert.
That's where I'm gonna make you sleep when you come to the freaking filmmaker show next month.
I got a van. I'm good.
He's gonna stay in a van down by the river. George, please tell me if you IWCs were destroyed during the making of this documentary. Sorry, but no.
Hey, someone asked where this was shot in the chat, and this was shot at George's apartment.
Yeah. This is George's bedroom. I mean, yeah, it's not like this is real. This is a real film, you know? The entire project is very observational, and that was very intentional. And yeah, so this is her bedroom.
And I'm very, very lucky to live opposite a giant clock tower, which is just perfect.
Yep.
That's the clock tower. So yeah, this was another shot that was quite cool because I don't remember when there was nothing was really shot like, I wouldn't say it was very chronologically shot, but you know, we were kind of like I think this was like the second morning or something. We were doing some interviews with Georgia. If you saw the reel that I posted, or me and Georgia posted, and I think Rob posted it too, that we shot her like her like top 3 or watches or whatever. I think that was that morning, and we just kind of wanted to show Georgia's enthusiasm for life. And I think we were joking with her because we're like, have you ever jumped on your bed before? And she's like, yeah, I have all the time. And so we're like, all right, well, let's just do that. You know, let's just film that, you know? So yeah.
So what's the intention for, I guess, for distributing and you know, having the film go out into the public domain? What's the goals, and you know, how's it going to get used?
So right now we have submitted to, I think, about 14 film festivals. I need to count, like maybe like 12 or 13. And I was talking to Robbie, and Rob talked pretty much every day. I was like 10 the other day, but then I submitted to 2 more in Las Vegas. So that way, hopefully I don't have to go anywhere to do a film festival. But no, we want to do through festivals. And then, you know, the biggest reason why it's not online right now is just for that exact reason. I think when we were putting this concept together, we had all talked about submitting to like some of the big New York festivals, you know, because, you know, Georgia lives in Tribeca, right? So the whole kind of conversation was like, well, what if we freaking get into Tribeca? Like, how freaking cool would that be? You know? And as we started like pulling this project together, and I started doing more research about Tribeca and what type of films they accept, they really love a local story, and they really love underrepresented voices, right? So we have Georgia, female in the watch industry, the male-dominated watch industry, and we have a raw Tribeca story, you know? So fingers crossed. But I think, like right now, because of some of the contracts and stuff that are like really not fun, but you know, a lot of these festivals, they want like a premiere exclusive. And Rob can talk more about this because he's done this before. But, you know, as you started submitting to festivals, we're like, well, we don't want to lock up the entire film for a year. You know, we want to start showing this, right? We want people to enjoy this. And distribution is just going to be pretty simple. Like, this is going to be on YouTube. So, like, you know, once this is all done and we've went through the little festival circuit, like, it's just gonna go on YouTube for everybody, you know, to enjoy and to learn about Georgia and to share her story. So hopefully that answers the entire question.
Robert, anything you want to add about, you know, getting into festivals, and is it a hard thing to do? I mean, I'm not in the movie business, so I wouldn't know.
Believe it or not, the festival scene is much like every other industry out there. There are connections and people that are in the in crowd and the whole thing. So it's not necessarily that easy to get in as like a first timer, but there's some that Blake was talking about that want exclusivity. So you can't show the film before they premiere it at their festival. And that part is what locks the film in. But getting in, you can always find something, because the community in whole is cool. Like, there's a lot of cool festivals out there, but a lot of the bigger ones, they have their politics like everything else. I think at the end of the day that there's a formula. And that formula in this little guy, whether it's gets accepted or not, doesn't matter. The formula is still there for it. So I think that this has as good as chances anything to get into one of the big ones. But sometimes you can find the good old boys club even in that world.
Yeah, Georgia, what did you think about so when you saw? Have you seen the final cut yet? I'm sure I know you've seen the rough cuts. What did you think of it?
I thought it was fantastic. I thought they were able to really articulate such a beautiful vision, and we took so much footage over the 3-ish long weekend whilst they were there. So I think, like Rob said earlier, like the story they were trying to tell could have been a million different stories just because we had so much footage. But I think what they put together as the final cut was really, really something special. And I think it left sort of a lot of open questions of like, where can I go next and what can I do next? But it really showed off sort of the watch community so beautifully as well, and sort of my very tiny part within that. So it was a really, really beautiful final edit.
We've got $2 from Mitch. Let me get to these real quick, and then we'll catch up real quick with you. $2 from Mitch, recruiting for the IWC Defense League, and another $2 from George, submitting a documentary about IWC and hydrofluoric acid. Excellent. We love it.
Oh, there's a storm of brewing here.
Yeah. And then we've got Brody, $5 upvote freeloaders. Absolutely. Please upvote this evening. And we're going to have a bunch of unboxings next week. So get your upvotes in this week and next week. But thank you, Brody, for the $5. We appreciate it. You are also in the race tonight. Remember to super chat, member milestone chat. All of that stuff will get you in the race, and we'll pick one at the end just because we're nice. All right. Sorry, Blake. Sorry to have interrupted you.
No, I think, somebody had talked about like the length of the film and like editing. I think it was Thomas. Something too that was kind of fun. I guess it was interesting to see, like, from my perspective, first of all the content that we captured, which I don't even think Georgia's even seen, just the amount of shit that we captured. She knows how much we captured because we were always pointing a camera at her. but when we got back to the computer and like Rob, I would have to like publicly go on record and like thank Rob, like, because Rob literally like put a freaking fire under my ass to like get this done. And like we were staying up late almost every single night, like edit. And the first version of the film, I think it was like 20 minutes or something, like 22 or so.
I don't remember.
Yeah, so we've had multiple different edits, and then I think we came down to like 14 minutes or so, and then eventually we just got down to 9, because I think the entire time we just wanted something that was really easy to watch and easy to follow. And so we just kept shrinking. And even if you watch the film, which there are people who are sitting here with us who have seen the film, on the panel, other than Rob and Georgia, that we just kept shrinking. And yeah, the last 3 minutes, I think, of it are just like a good go happy lucky, like trying to capture the vibes that were really there that we weren't shown in the film. The fun times, the behind the scenes, the rawness. And so the entire story is like maybe just 7 minutes or so,
Yeah. I saw a rough edit several months ago, so I know it's changed since what I saw. It wasn't even color graded at that point. So that's how long ago what I saw was.
Jen's seen it. Yeah, because I spend every week with you guys. I figured, you would be, if anybody, the one to give me some bad news,
Yeah, well, we didn't have any bad news. It was fun. It was a great story.
So
especially Georgia brushing her teeth. That was fantastic.
I don't know if Blake's about to make fun of me of the way I put toothpaste on my toothbrush. Is this what you're about to do?
Oh my God, we need to show that. That's the behind the scenes clip right there that never made it.
Oh Lord.
Georgia, this will be part 2. You can't. They made so much fun of me of how I put toothpaste on my toothbrush. I didn't think I did anything peculiar, but apparently it's quite strange.
She holds it like this, like a freaking death claw. and then just like I think Rob and I were just.
She puts it on upside down and then flips it over and brushes her teeth.
Yeah, like
it's like she puts toothpaste on the bottom of a toothbrush because it's upside down, and then she turns it over and brushes her teeth with it.
My teeth are fine. I'm not typical British in that regard. It works.
Hey,
it does work.
I spent 2 hours in the dentist chair today. I don't want to talk nothing about no teeth.
Yeah, well,
I've had enough of that.
This was a cool scene too, because we literally just kind of like roamed through Tribeca, which is Georgia's stomping ground, and we're like, where do you go? Like, show us your favorite cafes, and this was a cool scene because like Georgia, and I didn't even know what the what the hell a city bike was until I met Georgia, but she goes everywhere on these little bicycles. Like, the little like Citibank bicycles. So we're like, oh, okay. Like, this was early in writing and development that we were like, how can we implement a freaking city bike into this project? So this scene, she's just walking across a crosswalk, but then Taylor, like, me and Rob were just like, they rented 2 city bikes, and then they just like dipped out. Like, and me and Rob are just standing there in the middle of New York City, like, have no idea where we are. Like, all right, well, what do we do now? And then I think we went and filmed squirrels or like birds or pigeons or something for like maybe 30 minutes. So the girls came back, and then and then we shot this scene. And
then a note to George: the squirrels were wearing IWCs, George, just to let you know.
They were.
Marine Lair, awesome job. Marine Lair, $2. Thank you. We got you in the race this evening. Appreciate it.
So something too that, like, I guess for me as, maybe a naive non-New Yorker, but like, I just always think about everybody taking the metro everywhere. So we're like, and Georgia's like, no, I don't do that. But she doesn't have to. She literally just like, I mean, is that fair to say, Georgia, that you just have your little turf and you just stay in it?
Well, no, not that I just stay in my neighborhood per se, but the city bikes is the most efficient way to get around the city. And I like to aggressively ride the city bikes too. So I see what time it says on Google, and it said it's going to be like a 20-minute bike ride. And I was like, Google, I got you in 12. So it's like a workout. It's fun to navigate. I never wear headphones so I can hear the cars and it's not dangerous. But to me, it's so much more fun than getting on the subway, which always smells, and then taxis are so expensive and takes forever. So for someone who has like 2 full-time jobs, this getting around on city bikes is the most efficient way.
That makes a lot of sense too, because when we took Ubers, a couple of places, and like we were like 3 miles from like the destination, and it was like 90 minutes in the Uber, and we're like,
yeah,
what?
Welcome to New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to ask you, obviously this was all shot around Watch Time weekend. What was your experience? And I know I would assume this isn't the first Watch Time you've been to, but what was your experience during Watch Time weekend, especially with the camera crew following you around?
It made me feel very important, quite honestly. I'm like, it's me plus this crew for all the events we went to, all the parties. It was my head was too big to fit through the doors, but honestly, it was very fun to have the whole crew with us for everything. It's not my first Watch Time weekend, like you mentioned, but having a full presence and a full crew there just made everything feel a little bit more legit. And I think similar to your question you had earlier about women sort of in this space, I think even at events like this, often we get kind of dismissed or not really engaged with as much as some of the male collectors. So me kind of turning up to different booths and chatting to different brands with my crew involved meant that people really wanted to have a conversation, especially with brands that I am not particularly familiar with. So it really sort of made me feel more validated in the space and taken a little bit more seriously. So grateful to the whole team for that.
And I know you were on one of the panels there too. What was the panel you were on? What were y'all discussing?
That was fantastic. It was part of FHH was in town, really like celebrating sort of watchmaking and the art of that. And here's me with Cameron Barr and we had James Landon and Blake. Who else was on the panel with me? Paul Buttress as well. So amazing lineup. We were talking about the rise of the secondary market. So I am predominantly a vintage collector. I love the stories that come with vintage. So we were talking about sort of how the vintage market has changed and how content creators or how more press about vintage is really changing the market and how we look at them today. So it was such an amazing opportunity to get to be there and get to talk amongst industry greats and a really amazing time.
This was a really special moment too, because she was just like shining on the panel, and I was like, "This was, mind you, this was after I almost died. Like literally, like I died.
Oh, good Lord!
Then we went.
You didn't die.
We filmed this panel, and then so I'm just sitting there with my iPad. Like I literally just had a little iPad that like was like beaming the camera feedback to me. So I was like, Taylor, go film George. Look at how amazing Georgia looks right there. Like go. Like and yeah, it was just, and then they had a buffet. So that was super dope.
So that was not a segue.
There were actually things in this process. You know, Blake makes it sound all fun and games, but like when they jumped on the bike, Taylor had her shot list. When we're here in this panel, there was a shot. There's specific story that needs to be told. It takes an incredible amount of storytelling to seem like you're flowing through a film. It's actually crazy. I compare it to fighting often. My background is in MMA as a fighter. And to be a freestyle fighter, you have to have decades of traditional foundational training to be able to freestyle like that. So everybody was doing their part, grabbing the scenes that needed to be grabbed as well as they can. Everybody knew that it wasn't just Blake cheering somebody on from the crowd. We knew what needed to be grabbed, and everyone was trying to grab it. And there were things that needed to be grabbed that weren't grabbed. And there are lots of things that I wanted added to the story that just didn't get shot. And it's crazy pace, you know, you can't get everything. So, but with that being said, I know Blake's just trying to chill and all, but it was actually a very structured weekend where
it was. We before even landed in New York, we had like an entire shot list. We had like a whole visual mind map plan. Like we had like schedules all together. Like Georgia was like, "Oh, we're doing this night. We're doing this that night." And then Georgia was like, "Oh, well, can we do this that night too?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Like, how the hell are we gonna do 3 freaking parties in one night? You know?" Like, and then so yeah, we really spent a lot of time in pre-production and putting a shot list together and like mapping out. Like we had some form of what we were gonna get by the end, but no, it definitely is like ass to the fire. Like in this specific instance, like I was so worried about like audio capture, right? Because Georgia is 25, 30 feet away from us at all times. Like how are we going to get crispy audio from her? You know what I mean? And, you know, so there was a lot of kind of like fly of the moment decisions that had to be made. Like, I literally had like 2 seconds. They were calling her up to the panel. I pulled her aside. I said, "Hey, wear this." And, I mean, I had 2 seconds to mic her up, you know, and it worked. It worked out for us. So,
I mean, don't forget in that scene, there's we can let you on the inside trading kind of thing here in this conversation. There were this particular moment. All I needed was one shot. Guys, at the end of all of this, I'm going to ask her a question that I want the answer to on film. So we get to the end. We ask the question. Georgia answers it perfectly. The crowd all applauds and everybody's having a good time. And I go back to these guys and no, the mic was dead by then and nobody got anything. And so there are all of those. That's why I like documentaries, because there's all of that chaos that you have to look. Too bad you missed it. You still got to make a cool story out of it. Georgia has this boyfriend that is a fabulous artist. He really does cool art. And I have this whole envision on this I don't know what you'd call it. I call it still art into animation, into the film. And I just don't think that we got enough to really support that kind of intro on the film because of the hectic pace of everything. And so you have to work around that. You have to work around things that don't get done. And you got to do all of this to prepare so you could still come out with some kind of decent storyline, even if you miss a bunch of things that you really had down there as like staple pieces. So it's a fun shoot. It's a crazy time. It's chaotic. It's fast paced. It's hit and miss. It's awesome. And we had a great team. That was a lot of fun.
And we want to thank Cyrus for the $20 super sticker, the Battle Hippo. Thank you so much, Cyrus. It's a great
Cyrus
sticker.
is a good friend of mine, and he's also the executive producer of this.
Well, there
film.
you go. Look at that.
So underrepresented voices.
Robert, we may have to have you back just by yourself so we can talk about how you got from MMA fighting to watches to filmmaking.
Yeah.
So that we may have to do a whole show just on that.
Anytime.
That fascinates me. Jen, you're up. What questions do you have for Georgia or Rob?
Okay. Georgia, how did you end up landing on vintage watches? I'm curious.
So I've always loved vintage jewelry, and I love the stories that come with them. I also love that they're one of one at this point. So yes, there could be hundreds of thousands of watches of a similar style, or even 100 of certain watches, but if it's been aged for a certain amount of time, it's going to have a really unique patina. It's going to be beaten up and scratched in a certain way. It's going to have these stories that we may or may not know. And I think there's such a romance to that, being part of that story, getting to write this next chapter. And I kind of fell in love with that. I'm a hopeless romantic at heart, which my darling boyfriend is very aware of. And I think vintage just leans into that completely. Also with new, scratching a new piece is the most painful thing in the entire world.
Yeah.
It just like my whole body hurts even saying those words out loud. I'm sure everyone also listening has a similar reaction. But with vintage, you don't kind of mind as much. At least I don't. So that is definitely a little bit of the reasoning.
And Jen and you would love Jen's collection because she has gotten big time into vintage Universal Genève. And she has some beautiful, what do you have now, 4 or 5?
I have 16.
16 vintage Universal Genèves?
Some of them are in cases, some of them are not, but yes.
Yeah, she also restores them. So Jen is a good person to know.
Yeah.
She restored the one that you have.
Oh, thank you so much, Jen. I love it so much. I get so many compliments on it. It's absolutely beautiful.
And I bribed her with the leftover parts, so Jen has the exact same watch as you.
Yay! I love that. And we're gonna have to connect. I need to see this full collection.
So this is the one I'm wearing tonight.
Oh,
it's a 70s. Let me clear this up for you so you guys can see a little bit better. Let me find my focus here.
That dial is so good.
There it is.
So this dial was a gift from Blake. This was one of the first movements that he gifted me in watches. And he sent me the movement and said, hey, I don't know if you can do anything with this, but are you interested? And I said, absolutely. And so I went on a hunt and I found the clasp and I found the case and I cased it up and gave it a new life. And I think that's kind of where I really got hooked on Universal Genève, because there were so many movements without cases out there. And I just started, grabbing watches that I really liked that I thought, okay, I can hold on to this and find a case later. And so I've slowly done that over time. Some of them came to me complete. Mitch gifted me a Calatrava UG that I have on Purple Crocodile. But yeah. And then, of course, putting yours together. Oh my gosh, that was the first micro rotor one that I had put together. And I was like, Blake, I freaking love this watch. I now need to go buy the Movement because I can't wait. So I put another one together. So yeah.
You're like a magician. Watchmakers to me are magicians. It requires so much patience, knowledge, and skill. And it's incredible how you're able to put all these pieces together and bring them back to life. It's really beautiful. Yeah.
This Movement is 13 millimeters across.
Tiny.
Tiny. Yeah, and the watch is tiny.
Yeah.
You have to see that dial in person because it looks like a aerial shot of like ocean crashing on the beach. Like it's a stone. It's like I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, it's really cool.
When I gifted it to her, I said, if you're taking one of like my project watches, you have to you can't take it from me and not restore it. Like you are under full obligation to restore this. And she did that. So
That's incredible.
Let's jump through a couple more of these too. So. This is Georgia pacing out. No, this was cool because this was right after the panel. Like somebody reached out to her and was like, "Hey, we want to film an interview with you." And we're filming her while she's filming an interview. and then after she gave her a little after she finished her interview and they're taking the mic over. We were just we had the camera right in her face and she gave this little peace and it was just it was such a cool raw moment. Same thing here. Same thing.
So does your sunglass collection rival your watch collection?
That's a very good question. I have a good amount of sunglasses. I love them too. But I definitely have more watches for sure. I think I'm on almost at 50 at this point. It's embarrassing. Yeah. It's not embarrassing. I'm very proud of them, but it is
we have
up there.
We have this is George's baby, right? Had to have this in the stills.
Mm-hmm.
And, your nails are killer, by the way.
Thank you. We've got fun nails at the moment too, but I
know, I saw that. Yeah,
lobby guys, but these were done especially for the weekend. With
they because when I was in the color session. Normally in a film production, you use something called a color checker, right? So it's essentially just a little splotchy, square that just has all these different skin tones on it. And, obviously when you're in film production, you don't want people to look like a sick human, right? You want their skin to be natural and rosy and all this. And so everything was just so run and gun that weekend that we didn't have really we had lighting diagrams planned. We didn't even get a chance to set up any of the lighting diagrams and everything was just shot on the fly. And so when I was in color, I was like, fuck, I wish we had a color checker because these nails would be so good. But we were definitely trying to, and there's so many cool shots that just kind of show her personality here and her nails at the same time too.
The Serica Parade. What do you think of those?
I thought the case was really fun on them. I know Blake's a huge fan, but really, really interesting case shape on this. And I love the different polishing and the finishes. It was really nice to see something that's different. Yeah.
So something that was really cool too that was unexpected, but as we were filming, I noticed Georgia started to gravitate towards her brands, right? The brands that she loves and kind of gets excited about. And then I think at one point when we had filmed and we were just kind of tapped out, we just kind of wanted to just hang out and not film. It kind of turned on her where I was like, hey, let me show you some of my brands, some of the watches that get me excited.
Oh God, I'm so sorry you had to spend all that time at Bell and Ross.
We didn't go to Bell and Ross. Was Bell and Ross even there?
No, we did not go to Bell and Ross.
This was just at wind up. When we got to watch time, Georgia just freaking started like doing her thing. But this
Well,
Like,
that was
really-
actually going to be my next question for Georgia, which was what like two brands at Watch Time and at Wind Up were your highlights for that weekend?
I think at Wind Up, Furl and Mari was my absolute one of my favorites. The team is amazing. Their pieces are so wonderful. Always so much time to talk to you about all the pieces too. And I love that they have very limited runs. I love the model in which they drop their pieces too. I think getting to chat with them is always an absolute highlight. And then I'm also such a Bulliver fan. I love their history. Been in New York for 150 years, really affordable price points, great designs, really tapping into their vintage archive too. And I'm good friends with that brand too. And they always have a massive stand. So I love going to them and greeting them and getting to chat with the historian that they have. So those two are definitely big ones for me to go to. And then at Watch Time, Parmigiani, I love seeing those pieces up close. I think they're just the retro part, like all of their craftsmanship and their dials and the way that the actual bracelets are put together. It's so fantastic to see up close. And then Chopard. I, again, love Jean-Baptiste, the US president, and some of the team. And they also make the most incredible fine jewelry, like watchmaking pieces too. So getting to see those and try those all on and play with them too is really fun. But I'm a huge fan of the LUC line as well. Just Chopard is killing it, truly.
So, something that was really interesting too, like from a filmmaker's perspective, and like something that me and Rob had a lot of conversations about that Georgia never knew. But, you know, I think at Wind Up and at Watch Time, like we filmed at so many different like brands, right? And like when we were in editing, we were like, okay, which ones does Georgia really love? Because she's going around saying that she loves all this stuff, like, and she probably does, right? But you know, we're like, which ones like do we really need to like stick with? And we stuck with Parmigiani, and I think that's kind of a cool moment there, like when she spends time at the Parmigiani booth and the way that we kind of presented it. And then we actually did get an interview with that was Jean-Luc, right? In the film? Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. And then we chatted to Ellen at Zenith as well, which is great. Yeah, it's true. I was bopping around chatting to everyone. I definitely have strong opinions on what I don't like as well, but maybe we'll have those ones offline. But I think for the most part, what all of these brands are doing is telling incredible stories, obviously some better than others. And I think being part of those stories and learning from the team directly who are writing those and diving into the history is what I love the most. So Blake is absolutely right with me bopping around and learning more. And it does get quite draining listening and being engaged with all of these, but at the same time, it's when you get to do these weekends, it's truly such a blessing and so much fun.
So
Parmigiani actually had one of the most impressive watches I think I saw at the entire show. I don't know if you saw the salmon dial perpetual calendar that was just 2 registers.
Yes.
Having all of the complication for perpetual calendar in such a stark dial. With just 2 what looked almost like handwritten kind of sub dials on it.
Yeah, I remember that as well. It's absolutely beautiful. They're so complex yet so simple. I think that's what sets them apart. And some amazing design. You're right.
I'm sure Nate will unbox one next week.
Probably.
No, I am unfortunately $108,000 perpetual calendar is not on my bingo card this month.
No, we'll just wait till next month.
That's why I said this month.
Yeah, Georgia, are you seeing that watch brands are starting to take women a little bit more seriously as far as not just their marketing but the watches that they're making? I mean, it used to be, we'll make this watch for men. Oh, we need a women's version. We'll shrink it and throw a quartz movement in it. That used to be kind of the modus operandi. Is that changing any now that you're getting more and more women involved in the hobby?
Yeah, I really think it is changing, which is nice to see. I think women are wearing all sorts of pieces. We're not pigeonholed to just wear these smaller, sparkly pieces. And yes, I love diamonds, but just making it small and throwing sparkles on it is not going to be like a universal selling point. So I think even seeing Bulgari, who've got the beautiful serpenti with their automatic movement in now, is a fantastic move in the right direction. And I've been lucky enough to host a lot of female watch collector dinners with brands, and all they want is feedback. How can we do better? How can we get more of you buying? What brands are doing a good job? What brands are doing a bad job? So really getting to hear from the collectors themselves is obviously very insightful for the brands. I think there's a lot more that they could be doing, but I think it has to move slowly. I think the rise of women in this industry is definitely coming, and it's still continuing, but it's not going to be like a huge amount. So I think changing all your design, changing all the intention to target more women is coming and is happening, but I think it's going to take more time.
Yeah, and I mean, everything in the watch industry takes time because it takes time to develop the movement. It takes time to develop the cases, production time, design time. So yeah, it seems like there's always about a 2-year lag on where we are now to where we will be in 2 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe, in 2 years, let's look at this again, and hopefully women have a better choice of not just jeweled and quartz, but some really cool designs just for them, and not just shrunken watches that were designed for men.
And even the verbiage on websites, why is it men's watches, ladies watches? Why is it sort of separated in that way? Why can't we shop by case size? I think we've seen some brands move away from that. I think Cartier is doing a good job in saying small to extra, 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 extra large. But I think brands are moving away from sort of having those as genderized, which we just don't need anymore. And I think that's going to be the first step, is messaging. Also, photography on the site is going to be shown on different wrist sizes, which is going to be super helpful. And then we'll see, obviously, more development too. But I'm very keen and very excited for this change.
Somebody has paid Georgia to hear your opinion on IWC.
They've actually paid for it now?
Yes, that would be George, who $2. Thank you so much, George. Your opinion on IWC, Georgia.
I have strong feelings about IWC. I do think they do very beautiful designs. I do think they don't do a good job catering for women. But IWC historically have made extremely sexist ads, and they made them for years and years and years. And even obviously it was a different time back then, but they continued to make them when it still was now time. So I think that is something that doesn't sit particularly well with me. But at the same time, they do very beautiful designs. They do great movements. So I'm not a hater at all, but I don't see enough women in their pieces, quite honestly.
Yeah, I mean, they're all pretty darn big.
They're ginormous. I couldn't wear one. They look silly on me. And even their tonal pieces, like the all black piece that I've been able to try a bunch of their pieces on, which has been lovely because their team is so nice. But I just don't see enough women in their pieces, and I don't see them catering towards a female audience too. I see it potentially changing, but ultimately it's like a men's pilot brand to me. So it's not something that necessarily resonates as well with a broader female audience.
We did the IWC dinner a couple years ago for Formula One, like me and my friend Chris, and we had a couple drinks, but we were like after everybody had left and it was just a couple of the collectors and like the IWC people, the whole thing was like, IWC doesn't care about your wrist size. Like it was just this whole funny thing because they'd introduced like a 48 millimeter shock absorber that year, and we were like,
oh yes, I remember that watch. Yeah,
it was super fun.
Yeah, that was the watch made for the guy who runs the Mercedes team because he kept throwing watches against the wall.
He was there.
So,
he was there.
Yeah. That's a watch that was made for him, so he could throw it against the wall and it wouldn't break.
Yeah. It worked out for him.
Robert thinks I'm joking. I'm not. It's
good story.
True.
That's a good story.
So
yeah, actually, it wasn't thrown against the wall. What he would do is he'd get mad and he would slam his fist down on the table. And when he would slam his fist, the shock to whatever watch, and they only wear IWC because they're sponsored by IWC, the shock of the hit on the table would break movements. So they made this watch in 48, but it's basically the watch itself with the movement is in a shock absorber that goes all the way around the watch. So the shock absorber takes the shock, but the watch is not hurt, or the movement's not hurt.
There you go.
So that's the story behind that.
This is another cool, like super cool still. And this is at that stupid ass freaking bar we were at, Nate. The stupid freaking little ass bar.
It was so hot.
It was hot. It was clammy. It was like a fucking 2-foot like hallway that we were all jammed in.
Wasn't it it was like a dive bar, but it was called like the dive bar or something.
Yeah,
it was like called the Trailer Park Bar or something
That's
like
it.
that.
Oh, it was hell. I never want to go back ever in my entire life.
And so like this is me like maybe like 5 inches away from Georgia at this point, but like she's like, oh, I'm gonna go to the bar, like let me get, you want something to drink? I was like, water please. Like, and I look up and I just see this like they had all these little weird neon signs and like all these like weird like ornamental.
I lasted like 14 minutes in that place and had to just completely ditch.
I thought I was just gonna like go there real quick and like dip out, but like, I mean, yeah, we were there for quite a while.
I didn't last 14 minutes.
Well, Rob had taken an Uber home, and then it was just me and Georgia, right? And then I kept saying like, Georgia, like when do you want to leave? When do you want to leave? And I was like ready to go, and then Georgia was like, you know, like a whole new group of people would walk in, and Georgia like turn into her social butterfly and like
the night was young.
Yeah, it was an interesting night, and
I think Georgia would let her friends wear IWC, but Georgia, in other words, you would never let your friends wear IWC, according to George. Thank you for the super chat, $5, George. Appreciate it.
I would let my friends, and my friends do wear IWC, especially the Janelle. So they can wear whatever they want, but I let my friends wear whatever.
We have to have JJ purchase an IWC with all of the
super chats from George.
Super chats.
Yeah. We want to let you know that we've got 4-minute warning until the race. So if you want to get in the race, get your super chats, member chats, and all the rest of the chats in. We will pick someone at the end to enter the race for free. But if you want to be assured of a spot in the race, you got 4 minutes, because these kind people need to go home and go to bed, or they are home, but they need to go to bed anyway.
Let me
not Robert. He's on the West Coast. He's going to stay there for a while, but George is not.
Let me see what else I can fly through. So this is also in George's living room, kind of trying to tease the clock a little bit. It was just like she just got ready. We were getting ready to do some stuff, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. So this is also at this stupid ass bar. Right. And of course George's friends walked in, and she had this just like aura of like glowy vibes about her, and I was like, oh, let me turn the camera on. Boom, got this shot. Something that's kind of interesting too in the film, like when you guys will eventually see it, I promise it'll be on the internet hopefully soon, but like we had this kind of weird transition from like day to night, because as an observer, right, and a filmmaker, like Georgia lives like 2 lives in the weirdest way. She's like Energizer Bunny during the day, like Miss Socialite at night. And so we tried to capture that, you know, and this was, I think, one of the nights we went to 3 freaking parties in one night. She's like, oh, we got to go here, and then we got to go there, and then we got to go there, and then we got to go, and then we will be. And it seemed like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Like we were getting back, and then waking up at 6 a.m., 7 a.m. to shoot the next day, and this was at this was either at Jean Rousseau or this was at the Ulysse Nardin party.
Ulysse Nardin, definitely, because I remember what I was.
I thought that was later. I thought that was after Jean Rousseau. So we went to Jean Rousseau, and then we went to UN, I think. So
yeah, exactly.
And then we left Georgia, and me and Rob went and got pizza. This was a cool one too. So Georgia was literally like, we're like, huh, how cool would this be for Georgia to like try and like make this watch? And like, you know, they were doing like a move, like Glashuta original was like doing this little like watch setup, and there's Georgia's attempt at trying.
Although my nails are beautiful, I can do nothing with them. So there's no way I can do watchmaking. I was so frustrated.
Look at that little ass screw that she's
I'm trying.
So how many watch rings do you have?
Oh, I have quite a few. I think I have 4 now. I was eyeing up another one today. I love them. They're fun.
Yes, that's another thing you have in common with Jen.
Oh, wonderful.
Another shot of you trying to get that freaking screw.
Wait, that's epic.
We spent some time at Analog Shift, which really resonates with Georgia.
Love me some Analog Shift.
And so they opened up the boutique for us early, and we just went through and Georgia literally they just started ripping watches out for Georgia, like left and right. Like, oh, you're gonna like this. You're gonna like. Next thing you know, we had like 30 freaking watches on the tray. And here, you can tell, like, she is literally like freaking eyeing them down.
Laser focused.
In this scene, and then there's one shot of her with like 3, like one's, I think one's an AP, one's a Cartier, and one's is one a Patek, is like all on one wrist or something like that. Something like that.
I saw you finally got the AP. Great piece.
Another interesting shot. This was actually from the same morning that Georgia hated me. So we were like, hey, let's film a couple shots. Like, you can see how gloomy it is outside. But
the smiley face ring is for when she punches you in the face.
It was this would definitely hurt for sure. Also Analog Shift, we had this kind of cool little like shot of her just like, just viving.
I think I'm wearing like a diamond Benoit at the time that you can't quite see.
You can see it in the actual film, like what it is. Like we had this real like camera movement that we planned. It was like a pullback, and it just like it's one of the favorite shots. In my opinion, one of the favorite shots in the film, and I know Rob doesn't really like it. I fought him on this one. I'm like, dude, we have to keep this. We have to keep this.
Blake, but be careful when you say fought him.
Yeah, okay. True. Be very careful.
Not like, you know what I mean.
Yeah. And this is George's boyfriend.
This is my boyfriend. He is a romantic.
Yeah, this was Kirkland from Analog Shift, her dog, which is
what a cutie.
Super cute. He was running around the whole time, like throwing toys at himself, like pissing all over the place. I think he's probably pissed everywhere in Analog Shift. On the floor. Just FYI. But this is a shot too that kind of was cool. We were going, Georgia that morning had to drop off a loaner watch, and like, okay, here's our chance to do some subway stuff. And she just landed right under this light, right as the subway kind of came in. And this shot is not even really seen very large in the film. Like we have this in the credits. But I like, as I was editing and we were doing colors, I was like, God, this is so beautiful. Just the depth and the way the light hits, and you have the light coming off the frickin' carts here, and like it just seemed very dynamic. So I'm like, we need to turn this into a still.
The subway seems glamorous until you have to take it every day.
And then
I grew up on the subway.
Yeah.
I went to an hour and a half each way to high school and back.
Wow.
In the snow, uphill, both ways?
Pretty much.
Yeah, barefoot.
Mm-hmm.
In the snow, both ways.
I hope not barefoot, not in the subway. Oof.
George, with a good question that's not IWC related. Georgia, your Grail watch, or do you already have it?
I don't have it yet. There's one I'm eyeing up definitely this year, which is a vintage Cartier tank extra plat Paris style from the late 70s. But a Grail that I'm really excited for is an AP Royal Oak Black Ceramic Carolina Bucci with a holographic dial. You know the one?
Yeah.
It's sparkles the dial, and they only made a limited number. They go for like 90K on the secondary market if they even ever pop up. But they are magic, like utter magic.
This is another shot here from the subway. And then this was actually a kind of cool one because we were walking up to Jean Rousseau, and Taylor is shooting this, and she like looks up, and there's Georgia like screaming. I think you were like yelling at us, like, "Hey, like, how far behind are you?" or something. And she peeks her head over, and then it's super funny because she pulls her head back in, and then Mr. Serious Rob like peeks his head over, like, "Hey, what are you guys doing? Are you guys working?" Like it was the funniest kind of like director's thing, and this definitely made the whole credits there. And then just Georgia walking, doing some subway stuff. This was a cool shot too because just at the end of the night, like we took this like taxi back to Georgia's, and we were like just finished at one of the parties. I think this was the dinner night, like where we did your dinner. And just the way, I don't know, to me, like I just love just the whole kind of contrast and like the blue street lights and the night kind of feeding through the window of the taxi. It seemed like a really special moment. And Georgia is very involved in the conversation she's having there on her phone. She had no idea I was shooting this.
I think I was re-editing content, quite probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
This is where the scene kind of finishes. These last three, this is just Georgia kind of like, I guess, reminiscing and the entire weekend. And this was a pretty interesting moment because we shot this, I think, before the dinner. And I had this huge like plan. I was like, okay, well, here's what we're gonna do on the rooftop or whatever. And we literally went to the rooftop and we shot like 3 shots in like 45 seconds. And Rob was like, all right, that's enough. I was like, what? Like we didn't shoot more because we had to be somewhere. And so this was like these entire 3 shots were really like the only usable 3 shots that we got from that rooftop. This was just so beautiful because she had this little like cone light that came off the roof of your building, and it just created this really nice kind of like soft moment, and it was a cool one. It worked out.
Very cool.
But I wanted to shoot more up here.
I can't wait for the documentary to be available for everyone to see. And we will have to have one or both of you back as soon as it is available so we can give out the link and let everybody see it. But I'd also love to have you back individually, Georgia, just to talk about your experience with watches and everything else aside from the documentary. And Rob, your experience with everything from MMA to filmmaking to watches, because I know, like I said earlier, you're a big watch collector as well. And I hear you have quite an impressive collection. And so we would love to be able to see it. What are you wearing tonight, Rob, by the way? Are you wearing a good one tonight?
Check this out, guys. Check this out. You guys are all going to love it.
Nothing.
Oh, no.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Disappoint me.
Who goes on a watch stream without a watch?
This guy.
What a loser. What a loser.
Yeah, that guy way up above Mitch. Yes. Well, no problem. We will have you both back because I would love to talk more to both of you and to give you both more time just by yourselves. But let's do a race real quick, and then we will end the show. And so we're going to add the race to the stage, and I'm going to add the names real quick. And
thank you, everybody.
I've already picked out the free one tonight.
Thank you, everybody, for hanging out, too, because this is kind of a departure from what we normally do and giving me kind of the whole opportunity and sticking with us to talk about, like, what we've been working on, because it's very special. It's very special to me. So, and to have all my friends here.
So just to let our guests know, what happens is whoever wins the race gets into the monthly race, and the monthly winner wins a prize. And then all the monthly winners get into the yearly race and they win a bigger prize. I added Jessica because she was new tonight. And so we always like to treat our new people to a free entry in the race. So here we go. Everybody's neck and neck, but that will change momentarily. Let's see who wins. The last, I think, 3 weeks, the free entry has actually ended up winning. So maybe Jessica's going to get a win here tonight. Who knows? But
That's a
we got
close one
Mitch.
tonight.
Yeah, Mitch, Nerd, and Cyrus all in the front there.
I mean,
But, you know,
that doesn't usually help.
no, that doesn't mean anything. That means you're going to lose, Mitch. That's what it means.
Also, what
Cyrus
else?
D probably are going to lose too.
Jessica's got
Here
the
comes
juice.
George. George is here we go.
See?
It's going to be between Marine Lair and Jessica.
It's going to slingshot.
I think Marine Lair's going. Yeah. Congratulations, Marine Lair. You are our winner this evening. We will get with you a little bit later. And George and Rob, hang out just a second. We wanted to say bye-bye in the back room, but we want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Next week, who knows? We got some unboxings, but I don't know what else we have, but we'll figure something out. Blake, yes, real quick.
Yeah, let me post his link real quick because we promised to do that.
Yes, please do.
Cassie in reserve, posting the link right
Thank
now.
you very much.
Which one do you want me to link from? Like
Rob outside.
Rob out, dude. You got too many YouTube channels.
Well, all the films are only there now. I had to separate because of I was getting crushed in the algorithm because there's three very different topics.
I only see it on Rob. Or at least that's what's
Rob outside. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, okay. All right. Here's the link for all y'all peoples. You should definitely go watch this. I mean, this is a freaking powerful. Not just saying that because he's my buddy, but this is a freaking powerful story.
There you go.
It's cool to learn about all the shit he's went through, and then for
Very
me to put
good.
him through more shit.
Yes.
Way more.
Another
Way more.
documentary.
Way
Between him and Georgia, it's way more than I went through.
Oh boy. Well, we definitely have to get you on by yourself then if you want to talk about Georgia. We're just teasing you. You guys have a great. Yeah, she is absolutely. You guys have a great night. We will talk to you, Robert and Georgia, in the back room. Until next week, we will see you then.